Alright, good morning. Welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project. This is a continuation of the previous live stream right here on Periscope, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you're coming from, or even there's even a Korean live stream. So I mean, 안녕하세요. Long story short, we're continuing off from the previous live stream. If you were watching on the previous one, I was just leaving off from this tangent. I was talking about workplace issues and some storage items. And that was after moving on from business as well as loans and finance. So long story short, I covered some archives here in this little bin box right here. And again, in the title, what you see on stream as well, what you see is what you get. Logistix review. We're basically covering the entire room and all the things that, get drawn into life as a whole. This Ahn Rho Project, the self-therapeutic multimedia project for me to solve the problems and challenges in my life, self-improvement process for me to reach the goals and heights I've set for myself. So long story short, back into it, we just covered some storage items in there. And I said that the previous live stream, we had to cut it off short, unfortunately, because I was going on 15 minutes and, Instagram only allows 15. But long story short, in there's some storage items were past 5 years ago, 2015 to 2018. Those 3 years were just immediately after I graduated, went volunteering, had a bunch of stuff, some gifts from my fellow volunteers and coordinators and supervisors. I also made some stuff for them. I was talking about how I saved this chocolate here because it was supposed to be a Christmas gift that I made for them. I wrapped it on this bow tie here, you can see, and there was some Cadbury chocolate, and I couldn't get it done because there were just not enough people for me to give it all away to at the time. Now I have way too many people to make gifts for, so I don't do that anymore. Long story short, I binge ate on that over the weekend. That was a big issue, and I want to talk about that in a second, by the way. Stay tuned if you're somebody because I want to give a little bit of shout out and just want to say thanks and gratitude to somebody who had been watching my stream on Periscope, and he left some comments there. He or she, I don't know, talking about OCD. Some of the words relating to some of the binge eating, sort of. I would not call it disorder, but it's just a habit. It's a big habit. I know that I'm kind of downplaying the issue. I know it's a lot more severe than that, but even so, I need to have a positive mindset if I'm going to get myself out of this rut. So long story short, I want to reply to them. So that's not something I want to cover later on stream. So stay tuned for that. But long story short, for now, binge eating, chocolate, gifts, stuff like that. So I'm going to use the plastic bag here, like I mentioned, from storage, and so hopefully I can start using this one here. But also down there, inside this bin, there's more plastic bags. I intend on using these so that I don't have to stay using this one right here. So this is the bags I mentioned I'm using from a workplace right now. It's all tattered, all torn apart. It's a mess. And inside there's a bunch of stuff I need to cover tomorrow morning. There's a lot of like Halloween treats in there that were provided from my workplace, my employer, the HR department, and so like some chocolates, some chips. I want to cover that tomorrow morning. So materials, workplace, gifts, that's all kind of what we're covering. And then I ended off the previous live stream with this thing here, this little totem pole. It's not a totem pole. It's a pole that, okay, so I work at a place that manufactures protective equipment. That's not the whole COVID-19 thing. That's actually what I've been doing for the past 4 years, before the whole pandemic struck. But long story short, we have this sort of thing here. Okay, you're not really sure what use it could be for, but I'm Chinese, all right, so you can guess. I was going to plan on using it like a staff, and I want to learn how to eventually do some sort of martial arts. And I know it's a very ghetto thing, but as you can tell, I've lived most of my life in poverty, so whatever resources I can sort of scavenge, I will use it. So that's just me being resourceful here. So from my workplace, from storage, more workplace stuff. So now let's move on to over here, and I guess it's still more related once again to the whole binge eating thing, which again, what you see is what you get in the title, in the room. So here's some grocery items. You can tell that a lot of it is just snack food. I'm not eating very healthily recently. I've been using my side business as a crutch. One of my side businesses has to do with sort of molecular nutrition. And I've been using it as a crutch because what that nutritional supplement does is it provides all the vitamins and minerals that my food otherwise wouldn't give me. Still, that's not an excuse for me to be eating this way, but long story short, this is still the groceries that I purchased. You can see a lot of junk food here. I've got to throw all this away. Most of it is finished, but I had to cover it on stream first. I have that kind of, perfectionist mindset. Again, that's another problem of mine that I have to take responsibility for and resolve. Long story short, we have this that's garbage as well. In addition to the groceries, there's some expired food. So where are we at now? Item number 7. So we had some storage items there. We had the bags, the gifts, workplace. We have some martial arts. That's about 4 things. The previous live stream I covered about 4 things there too. Muffins and some garbage, as well as finishing all the loans. So that's finance. But long story short, right now we're back here, and this is all food stuff. The last thing I want to cover related to food here is this packaging here. You can see that it's just compressed, at least 5 to 8 different packages compressed. I covered that on a previous live stream. You can check it out if you feel like it would be interest to you. But on Facebook, Twitch, whatever. From long story short, I broke down all the packages, and over here, if you take a look at my previous live stream, like I said 3 days ago, I'm sorry I couldn't punch out a daily stream. I wanted to, but just so busy. I had like all over this room here, this entire area was just filled with packaging. It was nonsensical. It was a complete fucking mess, and I'm glad that I got that sorted out. So that's done. Okay, so groceries, food, finance, employment. All right, moving on. So the last thing I had to cover here is just 2 things. One, related to clothing. So it's getting cold now, and I live in Canada, so I had mentioned that I want to switch out a small fall autumn jacket for something like this. So this one's made kind of a leather, a dull leather thing. I don't like to wear anything that's too flashy, but I realized that after testing it, it's not warm enough. The wind seeps through. So I took out my winter uniform, and this one is I haven't covered. But long story short, if you have ever seen the construction workers or anyone who works in a warehouse that is minus 4 degrees plus, I mean below Celsius. I'm talking Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So and that's not a dig on you're in the US. That's not a dig on you, just some friendly banter here. But long story short, we got a whole uniform there, and it's really thick, and it really protects me from the winds out there, because when they shear against your face, if you know that kind of wind chill that scrapes against your face, it's really painful, and you've got a mask on and all that kind of stuff right now thanks to COVID. So I've decided to take out that uniform, and it's really protecting me now in the winter. So that's great. It's going to get a lot harsher. I'm glad I have that out, so now I can switch between this sort of full place uniform, full coverall, and that sort of a dull leather jacket that will protect me from the wind and the snow and the ice, okay, when it does come. Last thing for the logistical review. Again, we're just going rapid fire here. That's how we gotta get it done. Life is a mess, all right? There's so much to cover if you actually start to take responsibility for everything. So long story short, this is the business part related to the business that I have, one of the businesses that I have, that I'm working with partnership with one of the colleagues that I met at the hospital I volunteer at. So that's how life is. I was volunteering at a hospital, and then I met a colleague there, and she is a retired nurse, and she does a business in molecular nutrition. Long story short, I decided that was 2 years ago, and I've always been stalling, but now my caregivers, so my mother, she's had a severe bone infection. Okay, and it's been coming up for the past 30 years of her very vicious labor cycle, working in the night shift and stuff and so on. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Long story short, I decided to take the jump and take the dive because this is something that could really help her now. At this point, we're out of solutions. Every time I try to reach a doctor, a family doctor, a specialist, they keep rejecting us because of COVID-19. Long story short, I had to take matters into my own hands and start finding a way to help her recover. And so I resorted to partnering with again, a fellow volunteer at the hospital. I'm taking the dive. Right now, there's a challenge that's going on, and I need to really find a way to get a bunch of people on board as well. So that's what I've been working on as well. In addition to all of this mess, all of this chaos here, once again, the previous live stream, Logistic Review 7C, which I just ended about 15 minutes ago. Endless chaos. It's just endless chaos. It never stops. Life just will not it will not let you take a break. Last thing here that I still have to work on here is this notebook. Once again, I want to pass this on to my caregivers. There's still something I need to do, make some dividers for her, put health, finance, relationships, employment, business, all that kind of jazz in there. And then I'm going to give it to her. So hopefully she can find something to do, because right now she's in a bit of depression. So I know there's a lot of stuff going down. Long story short, this is the last. There's one more thing I need to cover, okay? Sorry, 2 more things. 2 more things I need to cover. If you take a look at the title, it does say RE. So what's that about? It's actually not inside my room here because it's digital. It's actually the stream that I'm hosting right now. And so I had someone actually ask me a question on a previous stream. They were on Periscope. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to you. It's because usually when I do my streams, I'm not actually facing. Let me sit down here so that I can speak properly. I'm not actually facing the screen. But long story short, what that person said, he was going in, I was talking about my sort of binge eating and stress eating habits for a while now. And he had something to share about that. He was talking about how he has this sort of OCD kind of behavior as well. And for me, I would never consider it to be a disorder to me because I, first of all, don't think that's a very practical mindset. If I want to dig myself out of this hole, it's still my responsibility to take care of these habits, whether they are, biological or environmental in nature. But needless to say, no one's going to be able to solve my problems except for me. And that's why I take it that way. Long story short, I have a lot of issues resulting from, I guess, the way I was raised, and no one can really solve that except for myself. And so I don't consider it to be, I don't call it a disorder. If I do that, I just end up succumbing to some sort of negative belief or mindset that says that I can't change, and that's not useful. If I want to find a solution into the health problems, financial problems, behavioral problems that I may have, then I have to take on a very practical mindset. And I hope that's shared between all of you as well. So that's just me expanding a little bit more. And I hope that the person who left that comment there, that you're working on your challenges without question, you have your own solutions and that you're working on as well. I just want to say a big thank you and appreciation for that person who left a comment and tried to engage with me on stream, even though I wasn't there for you. I read your comment at the very end, and I'm sorry I couldn't get to you, but I'm getting to you now if you actually are watching this stream. Okay, take-home message. So the take-home message now, that's the last thing we have to cover on stream. It's very straightforward and to the point. Not to the point, but I only have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to try and make it brief. Take-home message is, of course, I do this every single time I do a live stream. Take care of your health, take care of your finance, take care of yourself, because the best way for you to help the people who care about you is to make sure that you are a strong, responsible, and disciplined individual so that they don't have to worry about you. And then when you can take care of yourself, you can also begin to offer some assistance to the people that you care for, the people that you love, whether that's your own kids, your spouse, your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, whatever. Maybe you have grandkids. I don't know who's watching. That's what it's all about. I'm not trying to be preachy. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm saying this because I need to practice this. That's why I do it. I do it because, I say this because then I start thinking like this and I start working like this. I'm trying to embody it completely. And there will be no doubt a whole bunch of challenges that, come against me, but that's the same with you as well. So long story short, that's a take-home message, as well as, just making sure that if you're not there yet, just continue working on it. Whatever problems or challenges in your life, try to solve them. Do you want to become the next, or whatever goals and aspirations on a positive note that you're reaching for? Go for it. Do you want to be the next civil engineer? Do you want to be the next pediatrician? Maybe you have something special for your spouse as a honeymoon, or your grandkids. Do you want to do something for them because they're having certain health issues or money-related problems? They get really much deeper. I'm just scratching the surface here, right? So do what you need to do. Spend your time, attention, energy, and resources on where you need to spend it. I'm always supporting for you. I'm happy when you're happy. I don't compromise what I do here on stream for anybody else, because what I do here on stream is good for me. And I will continue to work on it with conviction, no matter what anybody else says. And I hope that you share that understanding and you do what you need to do for your family, for your health, for your money, for yourself. Okay, so that being said, this is the Ahn Rho Project. Thank you for tuning into this very makeshift, again, very messy 2 live streams today. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Ahn Rho Project. I'm signing out, and I'll catch you all at the next live stream, whether that's tomorrow morning or the day after. Hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be able to cover more equipment or more garbage that I need to clear. With that being said, Ahn Rho signing out. Thank you, and I hope to see a better version of myself as well as all of you the next live stream. Take care. Ciao.